Hello, dear friends. Welcome to this program, Our Moments with God. And I'm almost sure that these videos are slowly helping you to realize the importance of spiritual life, of inner life, of a spiritual journey to connect with our inner being and to deepen our spiritual life, especially as we get older in our life. This need for spiritual life becomes more urgent and becomes really a need for us. And I'm sure these videos are helping you somehow, and you are also sharing these videos with others. Thank you. Today is 9th of September, and I often come to this water body here behind me, as you see, which of course I use as symbol. So what symbol am I going to use it today for? It is because today, 9th of September, is the feast of one Jesuit missionary called Saint Peter Claver. But what has Saint Peter Claver, a person born in Spain, but then wanted to be a missionary and joined the Jesuit order, and the Jesuit order sent him to South America, into a place in Colombia called Cartagena. And Cartagena was a place of the slave market. So slaves from Africa were brought through waterways, through the ships and through the sea, from Africa all the way to Americas, North America, South America, but mainly they were transported to North America as slaves. And I have read both the life of Saint Peter Claver as I was a novice, and also I have read enough about the slave trade of the Africans, how the white people from America and from Europe did slave trade. They were not considered human beings. Some of these, not some, all of these slaves, they were literally treated worse than animals. It's very sad history, part of Christianity as well, because all these people were Christians who were involved in slave trade. And what was the role of Saint Peter Claver? He came to know the terrible conditions that these people had to travel in. They were packed like sardines in these rooms in the ship. They had hardly place, because the more slaves a ship could bring, the more profit both the ship owner and the traders would make. Therefore, they packed the ships with plenty of slaves, and their condition was so terrible. They were famished with hunger. Many of them were sick. They had not only enough to eat or to drink, but they had no medicines. Some of them had festering wounds, so much so I remember reading this very powerful and touching story of Saint Peter Claver. So as soon as the ships arrived to these water bodies to Cartagena, somehow people knew about Peter Claver. Peter Claver, along with some of his companions, entered straight away into the ship. He brought for them food, medicine, and all that they needed as first hand. That was his missionary commitment. And along with that, he also told them the reason why he was doing that. The reason was because he was following Jesus, and Jesus' commandments to do to the least of my brothers, whatever you do to the least of my brothers or sisters, that you do unto me, etc. He was teaching them about Christianity, and of course then a lot of people also volunteered to be baptized and to follow his faith, and he baptized them a lot. But this was the life of Saint Peter Claver, who really dedicated his life for 40 years. He did that. Of course, he got into sometimes trouble, as most of the saints do get into trouble with the authorities, but afterwards it was pacified and he was allowed to work again. So he called himself as slave of slaves, much like Mother Teresa called herself to work among the poorest of the poor. Saint Peter Claver called himself slave of slaves. And even though he was offered good places to stay in. No, he always preferred to stay exactly in the tents or in the quarters that were assigned to the slaves, and he stayed with them. This is a wonderful example of Peter Claver's life. I wanted to say a few words about the gospel, where once again the Pharisees are pointing out or noticing Jesus on the Sabbath, whether in the synagogue he will heal a person, and Jesus of course heals him. And sometimes I wonder whether these Pharisees had nothing else to do except to observe what Jesus was doing on Sabbath, what his disciples were doing. I mean, what were they doing? Every time you see that they come forward and question Jesus, or want to catch him whether he is doing something on Sabbath, as if they had nothing to do. Like, if I may please extend this example to us. Some of us, our business is to mind somebody else's business. That is what we are expert at. To poke our nose in others' business and to always point fingers at them. Actually, what we are doing by that is hiding our own shortcomings, hiding our own faults, our own sins. This is the best way of covering our own shortcomings, by pointing things at others. I hope that we learn something from the attitude of these Pharisees and do more for the poor and the needy, like Saint Peter Claver did for the slaves. I wish you all the very best. Thank you.